Welcome to another episode of the Cynical Writer. Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that you can check out my books in the description section if you want to support this channel. Now, Annabel Lee, I think, is one of the greatest poems ever written. Now, a lot of people think that The Raven, which was also written by Edgar Allan Poe, is the greatest poem that he ever composed. But personally, I think Annabel Lee is a far superior poem. And before I analyze the poem, I'm going to recite it for you. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by the night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my love from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in the sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Now, it's a short poem, but personally I think it's one of the greatest poems ever written. It was written towards the end of Poe's life, when, frankly, his life was not going very well. He had become an alcoholic, and things were just not going well for him in many ways. And because of that, he started to frankly lose his mind in ways that a lot of people simply aren't aware of. Poe had a drinking habit that probably went back to his father, his genetic father, David Poe, who also had a severe drinking problem, and he suffered quite a lot emotionally. He suffered a lot of trauma in his life. So Annabel Lee, in some ways, is the culmination of Poe's life. And the poem itself really is about the beauty of death, that even though Annabel Lee is dead, she still remains beautiful in death. And some scholars think that Poe was talking about his late wife, Virginia, who died of tuberculosis when she was 24. Poe had a very unlucky life, though, because his biological mother died of tuberculosis when she was also 24. His adopted mother also passed away from tuberculosis. So he had a very unlucky childhood and life. And so it's no wonder that his poetry was often very negative and very dark. And the poem kind of represents kind of a purgatory, I guess you could say, between life and death. That even though Annabel Lee is dead technically, in some ways she's also still alive, but in a way that is more ethereal. And the poem is very surreal in that way, that someone can technically be dead but be alive in a very ethereal sense, and that she might be alive to the writer in the sense that he can't forget her, that she's more beautiful in death than she ever was in life, perhaps. In many of Poe's poems, it does seem that people become more beautiful once they're dead. And so, for that reason, I think Annabel Lee is one of the greatest poems ever written. It celebrates the aesthetics of language in a way that very few modern poems, or even very few modern prose stories, do. And that's why I think it is a very superior, in my view, piece of literature. And I highly recommend that you read it and study it for yourself, because if you don't, you're really missing out, I believe, on a very high quality piece of literature. Well, I hope you enjoyed my speech for today. As I said before, you can check out my books in the description section. And if you enjoyed this video, you could also subscribe to my channel as well. And until next time, goodbye.